Good afternoon. I recently visited my sister. She lives in Amersfoort, and she has a 4-year-old daughter. It's Olivia. This is her. And when I visit my sister in Amersfoort, because I don't have a car, I go by train. And when I enter the station, I take this OV-fiets, public transportation bike. And Olivia is always wondering, what is this kind of bike? What is it? And then the last time I visited my sister, she was greeting me at the door. And she was looking very smart, with a smart smile. And she asked, this OV-fiets, is it like a book from a bicycle library? And she's 4 years old, and she already has references of sharing. And there are 3 important things. 1, she gets the concept. It fits into her known mental model of how her world works. 2, it sticks. She's 4 years old, and she's just learned how to ride a bike herself. So she's very curious about bikes and all that goes around it. And 3, it opens up possibilities for her. She gets the idea. Imagine what kind of perspective she gets when this works for books, it works for bikes. So where does it bring her? Where does this idea of sharing go? She's thinking about putting up her room on Airbnb right now. So, ideas spread when you're really involved and when you get active. And what I want to do is do an experiment with you. I've known you've done a lot of experiments today. This might be the most frightening experiment you will go to do. And I have to ask you, you have to trust each other. Don't be afraid. So what I want you to do is to stand up. Please all stand up. Now I'm asking you, there might still be strangers in the room, although you talked to a lot of people already, which you only have known and met this very day. What I want to ask you is to exchange an object with a stranger that's very much of value to you. It's a bit frightening to exchange, like, for example, maybe your credit card or maybe your car keys. And a second thing, tell something personal. Tell them to buy this in that store in Utrecht, or tell them to go visit that place with the car. So I want you to do is exchange an object with a stranger and tell something personal. Please do it. Look into your bags. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, please, I know you're all very excited. I have one more task, is arrange a rendezvous. When will you receive the object in return? Is it tonight? Is it next week? And when you've done that, you can all sit down, please. Sit down. Please sit down. There are a lot of personal stories. That's great. If you could please all sit down. I saw necklaces getting exchanged. I saw iPads and I saw scarves. So very personal stuff, very stuff of value. So let's see if it all comes back to the right owner. But now, I have a confession to make, and Bas already told. But I think TEDx needs to change. I have to tell you, I'm no great fan of TEDx. Although I watch a few videos. And I do think the ideas are great, speakers are excellent, and the topics are very important. And these are ideas that are worthwhile, but I think there's something wrong with spreading, with its form, the form of TEDx. And I know you would say, hey, but I do watch videos, I do get inspired, but I think, where's the action? Where's the real involvement? And science, research has showed us there are more fun, more sticky, and more efficient ways to spread ideas. And what I do is I spread ideas for a living. And I don't spread my own ideas, I spread ideas others came up with. My students bringing ideas to the classroom. We have thinkers, theorists. We look at models, frameworks for design, because I teach design courses at University of Applied Sciences Utrecht. And they bring it into the classroom. And I believe that these ideas get spread among the students when they take all the ideas from the outside world, ideas they don't know, ideas they do know, into the classroom, and they discuss it with each other. And they have to explain why some designs are bad, some designs are good, some methods work, some methods don't work. They discuss it and explain it to each other. So now, I think that if you make these people, these students, more active, more involved, they will become better professionals. And they can spread their ideas far better. And, well, let's do a little exercise. I want you to think of, maybe you have a 4-year-old cousin, or maybe a son or a daughter. How would you explain the concept of wind to them? There are very many ways, activities, how you could explain something to someone. But how much do we know after 24 hours after these activities? And you can write it down maybe on a post-it or digitally, or you can discuss it with your neighbor. What do you think when you discuss a topic? How much do you remember after 24 hours? What do you think? Is it 10%? Is it 60%? Is it 50%? It's high, we say. 60% research shows us. Practicing, when you practice it yourself. 70, it's higher. Getting demonstrated, only 40%. Hearing, 30%. Explaining to others, 80%. Relating to one's own experience. Remember my cousin, Olivia? She knows how to ride a bike herself. Seeing, only 20%. Reading, only 10%. So, one little last assignment for you. Could you please write down the most important thought you had today? It can be digitally, you could do it on your notepad. The most important thought of today. Please take a few moments to write it down. And there's some relaxing music to think about it. I see people tweeting, typing it digitally. I see people with pencils. Okay, now that you've taken your time, let's wrap it up. Because if we want to spread this idea and to want to spread the ideas which are being talked about at TED, I think these 5 principles are important. 5 principles for successful spreading. 1, we have to tickle the senses. Maybe I came with my bike. 2, we have to activate the audience. It's done a lot today, showed it in my talk as well. 3, use social physical interactions. You exchange the real object with a real person. 4, give real assignments. You have to write down the most important thought. And 5, as you've learned, you have to practice, discuss, and explain your ideas to others. Let's do this for your ideas. Let's do this for all the ideas you hear at TED. And therefore we have to flip TED. And let's call it TEDx. Thank you.
Laurens Vreekamp.